Picture this. North London wakes to Thomas Frank striding into Hotspur Way, tea still steaming in his hand, intent on taming a club where calm is rumour, not custom. Daniel Levy, the chairman who once sacked Jose Mourinho on the eve of a cup final and still sleeps like a baby, has hired the architect of Brentford's fearless rise. Frank was the Premier League's second longest-serving boss, behind only Pep Guardiola, and since he took charge of Brentford in 2018, Spurs have rattled through 5 permanent managers. He now becomes their 6th. Why would he abandon a data-driven beehive where nobody panics for a trophy-starved giant that famously flinches at the finish line? Stay tuned for 3 answers even Levy can't haggle down. We'll laugh at Spurs legends of last-minute lunges, crunch the numbers that made the bees buzz, and expose the hook that convinced Levy to ditch Europa League-winning Ange Postecoglou after just 2 seasons. Spoiler, it involves GPS trackers, set-piece sorcery, and a karaoke clause. Ready to peek behind the curtain of the most curious Premier League marriage since Klopp met Liverpool? Keep listening, because by the end you'll know not just what Frank must fix, but exactly how he plans to make Tottenham hum. Thomas Frank was born in Frederiksværk on the 9th of October 1973 and first tried life as a box-to-box midfielder before turning to coaching at 22 with his hometown under-8s. An 18-year apprenticeship followed through Danish academies and national teams, highlighted by steering Denmark under-17 to the 2011 European semi-finals and the country's first appearance at a under-17s World Cup. Brøndby handed him his first senior post in 2013. In 2 seasons, he lifted the club from relegation worry to 4th and then 3rd, twice reaching the Europa League qualifying rounds before quitting in 2016 after a public clash with the chairman. Brentford hired him as an assistant that winter and promoted him in October 2018. He masterminded promotion in 2021, ending their 74-year flight exile, and then delivered Premier League finishes of 13th, 9th, 16th and 10th on one of the division's leanest wage bills. His football blended targeted pressing, set-piece volume and strict role clarity that turned undervalued recruits into valuable assets. In June 2025, Tottenham Hotspur offered the next challenge. Frank arrives in North London with a reputation for structured, calm and evidence-led decision-making that Spurs supporters have craved for a generation. Thomas Frank is nobody's fool, so why abandon Brentford's model village for Tottenham's Hall of Mirrors? He swaps 7 years of control, data-driven recruitment and steady growth.
What have you made of the season?
Overall, quite happy.
Yeah.
We score a lot of goals, and for a club of our size and budget and all that, that we can produce goal scorers.
For a club that has sacked 5 managers in 6 seasons and fired the last soon after ending a 17-year trophy drought. Postecoglou's Europa League win still came with 17th place and 22 league losses, Spurs' worst return since 1977. On paper, the jump looks rash. Brentford's 14th ranked wage bill carried Frank to 13th, 9th, 16th and 10th, with only 4 sides topping the Bees' 66-goal haul last year. That steadiness would earn lifetime credit in West London. In N17, it only buys expectation. Champions League nights leave Levy no room for transition. What sweetens the deal is Frank's long bond with technical chief Johan Lang. Both crave athletic, versatile signings, and their alignment reassures Levy. Enik, meanwhile, is taking a closer look at spending, so every pound must prove value. Frank embraces the risk. He's lost Ivan Toney, yet Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa still produce 39 goals, and he morphed systems twice without losing identity. Spurs already own what he loves, attacking fullbacks, high-pace forwards and a set-piece vacuum he can exploit. The Dane will triple his budget, step into a global glare and measure his science against Europe's elite. One bad autumn could add his name to Levy's severance list, but the ceiling surpasses anything offered before, and at 51 another door may not open. For a coach who trusts his ideas, the gamble computes. Only time will show if the dice roll his way. Why does Thomas Frank fit Spurs so well? Start with resources. At Brentford, he ran the division's tiniest wage spend, £99 million in 2023-24, £114 million in 2024-25, yet topped points per pound charts for 4 straight seasons.
Kylian Mbappe enters the final 6 months of his contract tomorrow. So why should he join Brentford ahead of any other club in the world?
Because we are telling an unbelievable story of what he can do for all the Bees fans and West London. So hopefully he will buy into that.
Levy can now hand that efficiency savant the Premier League's 6th biggest budget, multiplying the tools that already powered overachievement. Next come methods. Frank's team live on intelligent pressure, lightning restarts and drilled dead balls. The Bees produced 10 non-penalty set-piece goals last term with modest height and no throw-in gun. Tottenham, by contrast, sat bottom half for such goals and leaked 65 overall, their worst figure since 2008. Fixing that is low-hanging fruit for a coach flanked by restart analysts. Raw materials help. Fullbacks Pedro Porro and Destiny Udogie ranked top quartile for progressive passes or carries, and Porro slings crosses at 69th percentile clip, so Frank's quick switch patterns bolt straight on. Up front he inherits Son, Kulusevski and Richarlison. Moulds he once turbocharged in Brian Mbeumo and Yohan Wissa. Squad planning targets 2 shifts. Spurs crave experience in midfield and at centre-back amid Spanish eyes on Christian Romero. Nobody yet meets his £70 million tag. The club still fancies Palace captain Mark Gay. Saudi money stalks Son, so the forward market is watched, and Tottenham even covets United-linked Mbeumo. Frank's own talisman. The dressing room brings context. It is stuffed with Europa League winners who spoke fondly of Postecoglou. They need guidance, not dictatorship. Frank, praised as personable and relentlessly motivational, thinks about the human behind the footballer. At Champions League nights, an ex-striker purse oversight and the Danes' appetite for challenge, and the puzzle aligns. Spurs demand adaptability, data and unity. Frank supplies all 3, proven on austerity. With deeper pockets, the appointment looks less gamble, more optimisation. His history shows that steady structure can unlock volatility, and Tottenham want exactly that stabilising spark to ignite their untapped potential. Daniel Levy's resume could be printed on P45 paper. He hacked Jose Mourinho 6 days before the 2021 League Cup final, and this month dismissed Ange Postecoglou barely a fortnight after raising the club's first trophy in 17 years. Tottenham is a ground where silverware rarely outweighs a blot on the league ledger, and that volatility is exactly what Thomas Frank, 7 seasons steady at Brentford, has chosen to embrace. During his Bees tenure, Spurs rotated through 5 permanent managers. He now becomes the 6th. At Brentford he enjoyed the opposite, a £99 million wage bill, owners who trusted data not mood swings, and a runway long enough to lose his opening 10 championship games without the sack. He replied by swapping Ollie Watkins for Ivan Toney, and when Toney vanished, turning Yohan Wissa and Brian Mbeumo into a 39-goal double act, living proof of an adaptability Spurs have lacked since Harry Redknapp. Levy's pursuit was eased by the Danes' long friendship with technical director Johan Lang, plus ENIC Group's vow to be even more hands-on with football operations. Transfer chatter already swirls. Spanish clubs covet Christian Romero, Saudi money stalks a slowing Heung-min Son, and Spurs quietly fancy reuniting Frank with Mbeumo as succession planning. Midfield ballast and a new centre-back top the shopping list, but every recruit must fit the manager's blueprint, not billboard value. That blueprint addresses Tottenham's chronic sores. They shipped 65 league goals and lost 22 matches last term, records for a side that survived. Frank builds from defensive density, tactical elasticity and instant exploitation of space, never welded to one dogma the way Postecoglou clung to his high line. Most critically, he is a teacher. Players praise exhaustive one-to-ones, motivational tricks and empathy that see the person before the athlete. The gamble stays two-way. Levy's trigger finger remains, yet if patience holds, the qualities that calm Brentford may finally propel Tottenham over the line, without another manager filing their own P45.